I think there's 17. Members of the committee, obviously I am not one of our two younger and attractive leaders. Sean and Linnell are on their way, I believe, and they have asked me to begin. I am indeed, for those that don't know, Ronnie Stein, a at-large council member, and I will just give one warning that I've been here before, and I'm on to Charlie Tygart before we even start. So unlike our younger colleagues, I'm watching him at every moment here. We begin today with the Historical Commission. Tim Walker is here as director. Yvonne Ogren, his administrative assistant, is here, and then I would take this opportunity to, for those of you that don't know, introduce Mr. George Cate, the former vice mayor of the city and one of those individuals that helped us create metropolitan government. For that, we will always be grateful. With that, Tim, I want to recognize you for any introductory comments you wish to make on your budget. Let's see. You should be on now.
Thank you, Chairman Stein. We do appreciate this opportunity, and thank you for introducing Commissioner and Vice Mayor Cate and our administrative assistant, Yvonne Ogren. I'd also like to recognize commissioners that are here with us today. They're in the gallery, commissioners of both the Metro Historical Commission and Metro Historic Zoning Commission, and they are Ms. Lula Brooks, Bob Allen, Monet Bell, Jim Hubler, Clay Bailey, Jim Forkham, Lynn McDonald, and Holly Sharp, and we appreciate them being here. Our department has had many accomplishments over the last 12 months, and I'd just like to highlight a few. We co-sponsored the 31st Annual African American History and Culture Conference with Tennessee State University, which had a record-breaking capacity attendance. We approved and installed 5 new historic markers, and we co-authored a nomination to the National Register of Historic Places for RCA Studio B, our city's first major record label recording studio, which opened in 1956. We've sponsored a number of talks and tours throughout the year commemorating the sesquicentennial of the Civil War, and we partnered with the Davidson County historian, Dr. Carol Busey, to sponsor local classes on Nashville history. We've also completed a new Civil War walking tour of downtown Nashville and a Battle of Nashville bikeway tour with the support of Metro Public Works and Metro Greenways. With the help of Metro Council and the Metro Planning Commission, we co-authored an ordinance that was adopted that permits detached accessory dwellings in local historic districts that are in character with their historic context. We continue to work with Metro agencies to evaluate and protect our county's historic resources, most visibly through the Metro Planning Commission's community plan updates, and of course their upcoming general plan update, MDHA's redevelopment district design review process, and through capital improvement projects with Metro Parks, Metro Water, General Services, Public Works, Metro Schools, and the Nashville Fire Department. We also continue to partner with local nonprofits to promote tourism and our city's rich history, architecture, and culture by co-sponsoring events such as the Nashville City Cemetery Association's Living History Tour, Memorial Day Dash, and their monthly history walks, the Tennessee Historical Society's State History Day in conjunction with Metro Schools, fall festivals at Nashville Zoo's Grassmere, the Association for the Preservation of Tennessee Antiquities Buchanan Log House, and Germantown's Oktoberfest, and through Habitat for Humanity's Reconstruct program, which renovates historic houses for needy families, and events at Two Rivers Mansion with their Friends group. In April, we had our third Fort Nashboro Day in just over a year with the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Second Company reenactors in Metro Parks, where actors in period costume portrayed life at the fort in the late 18th century. And only 2 weeks ago, we hosted the statewide conference for the Tennessee Preservation Trust in downtown, which focused on Civil War preservation and the sustainable or green movement's ties to historic preservation. Moving on, in the coming year, I'm anticipating several challenges with our current level of staffing and funding. As neighborhoods, communities, and property owners continue to seek local designation through the Metro Historic Zoning Commission to protect their architectural character and manage growth, and as we plan for the 50th anniversary of Metro government, and as we continue to plan to commemorate the sesquicentennial of the Civil War, which runs through 2015. In closing, as always, we continue to look for ways to reduce cost and work more effectively while providing quality service to Davidson County residents as we work to preserve our history, our neighborhoods, and our significant places. Thank you.
Tim, thank you. Councilman Tigert.
Thank you, and thank you, Tim, for being here and bringing the rock star vice mayor with you. I would say, for anyone listening, if they represent a civic organization or a homeowner association or any group in search of an interesting and informative speaker, the history and formation and all the politics and behind the scenes that George Cate brings to the discussion is a very interesting program and well worth the price of admission. So that's your 10-second commercial there. Tim, you mentioned about the installation of historical markers. Do we provide anything in your budget for either new historical markers? Is that 4%, or how is that handled? And also the replacement or restoration, upkeep of historical markers. Tell me how that is handled.
Well, there hasn't been any funding for that until the last 12 months, and we have been provided some 4% money that we've used to repair the markers that were damaged. That was an issue that I brought up last year, and we've actually got a little additional money, and there are many things. Generally, when people have wanted to designate something and put up a marker, they've had to find their own funding for it. And so we've been given a little bit of money that will allow the commission to choose some topics or sites that are important to Davidson County history that a group may not come to the table for. So it'll allow them to do that. We have, I believe, enough money for maybe 4 or 5 markers.
Does that fill the need from your perspective, or is there more than 4 or 5 in the pipeline that need discussion?
Well, it would be great to have a little additional funding for that because there are more in the pipeline. The commission met earlier, and the committee, the Markers Committee, to look at that list, and I believe they had about 20 some odd sites or buildings or people that they wanted to put up a historic marker for, so that won't cover it.
I see the finance director and deputy mayor feverishly making notes on the next 4% request there, so hopefully that's been noted. Many cities have a nonprofit arm fundraising to create an endowment for the purchase, upkeep, maintenance of historical properties if there is an opportunity that arises. We've talked about this in past years. There's been some ups and downs, and I've heard the name Historic Nashville mentioned. But can you give us an update? Has any progress been made on establishing a endowment fund for historic purposes here in Nashville?
Well, I may have mentioned this last year, but we have been meeting with a group of interested parties. They have formed a committee, and we've actually applied to create a Metro Historical Commission Foundation. All the paperwork has been filed. We've gotten one of our 2 approvals, and we're waiting on the last approval, and we really should be getting that any day. In charter, a board of directors, game plan for fundraising, how much will go into current expenditures versus how much is socked away for future needs and purposes, all that's addressed by this committee and the board? It will be.
That is good news. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Councilman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to know, since it's been about a year, has our vice mayor been taped on his historical perspective concerning Metro?
On 1 or 2 occasions, yes.
You know, we talked about that. Has that tape been done, and where he's given your speech or your historical?
Leadership Nashville did, and the organization also sponsored by Dr. McKee did that too.
Good. Thank you.
Councilwoman Johnson.
Thank you, Chair Stein. Thank you for your report, and I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of Councilman Tigert with the question about the markers. I think we've been in discussions about Grandale Manor and looking at the possibility of having a marker for the Nashboro Village area for the Grandale. Is that included in the consideration of the ones that are, I think you said there were 3 to 4 markers that are currently able to be funded?
Markers of 20-some-odd markers, the commission has not yet decided which ones will be funded out of that
Okay.
list. They're still prioritizing that.
But it is on the list?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for being with us today, and thank you for your good work. And keep former Councilman Forkham working hard back there. He's looking entirely too happy at this point in time. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Folks from the Beer Board, come on down.